My child, do not scroll away. Stop for just a moment and listen carefully, because what is happening right now is not an accident. Out of all the videos you could have watched, out of all the messages you could have passed by, you are here. And I want you to know that you did not arrive here by chance. I brought you here. Before this day began, before you opened your eyes this morning, before you faced the worries that have been weighing on your heart, I already knew this moment would come. I knew the questions you would be carrying. I knew the fears you would try to hide. I knew the silent battles you would fight while pretending everything was fine. And that is why I am speaking to you now. Do not rush past these words. Do not tell yourself that you will listen later. There are moments in life that carry greater significance than we realize, and this is one of those moments. Something inside of you felt the need to stop. Something deep within your spirit whispered, "Stay a little longer." That whisper was not your imagination. It was me. You have been asking for a sign. Perhaps you never said the words out loud. Perhaps the prayer was hidden beneath your tears, your frustration, or your exhaustion. But I heard it. I heard every prayer. I heard every cry that nobody else knew about. I heard every question you asked in the darkness when it felt like no answer was coming. And now, I am answering you. My child, I see how tired you have become. I see the weight you have been carrying. I see the disappointment you never fully recovered from. I see the worry that follows you into the night and greets you again in the morning. You have wondered if anyone truly understands. You have wondered if I still see you. You have wondered if your prayers still matter. Hear me clearly. I see you. I hear you. I have not forgotten you. Not for a single moment. Even when you felt alone, I was with you. Even when the silence seemed endless, I was working. Even when you thought nothing was changing, I was preparing things beyond your sight. That is why I need you to stay with me for the next few moments, because what I am about to reveal is not meant for everyone. It is meant for you. This is a divine appointment. This is a holy interruption. This is the moment I prepared for you long before you ever knew you would need it. So take a deep breath, quiet the noise around you, open your heart, and listen closely, because the message that follows may become the very moment you look back on and say, "That was the day everything began to change." My child, before I speak about where I am leading you, I need you to understand something that your heart has been longing to hear. I see the battle you never talk about. I see the struggle hidden behind your smile. I see the strength you pretend to have when others are watching. And I see the exhaustion that settles over you when you are finally alone. Many people look at you and assume you are doing fine. They see you continue moving forward. They see you fulfilling your responsibilities. They see you showing up day after day. But they do not see what happens inside your heart. I do. I see the thoughts that keep you awake long after everyone else has fallen asleep. I see the worries that follow you from morning until night. I see the questions that have no easy answers. You have carried burdens that were never meant to be carried alone. There have been moments when you felt overwhelmed, yet you remained silent because you did not want to become a burden to anyone else. There were days when you wanted someone to ask if you were truly okay. Not the automatic question people ask in passing, but the real question. The question that gives you permission to be honest. The question that allows you to say, "No, I am not okay." Yet many times that moment never came. So you carried the weight by yourself. My child, I saw every one of those moments. I saw the tears you quickly wiped away before anyone noticed. I saw the disappointment you buried deep inside your heart. I saw the prayers you whispered when no one else could hear. I saw the fear you tried to hide. I saw the loneliness you tried to ignore. Nothing escaped my attention. Not one tear. Not one sleepless night. Not one anxious thought. Not one silent cry. You have been fighting battles that others know nothing about. Some of those battles are within your mind. You have wrestled with doubt. You have questioned your future. You have wondered whether things will ever change. You have feared that your best days might already be behind you. And sometimes the enemy has used those fears to convince you that you are stuck, forgotten, or destined to remain exactly where you are. But those lies are not the truth. I know how difficult it has been. I know there were moments when you felt like giving up. Moments when you became tired of being strong. Moments when you wondered how much longer you could keep carrying the pressure, yet somehow you kept going. You took another step. You faced another day. You found the strength to continue. Do you know why? Because even when you could not feel my hand, it was holding you. Even when you could not hear my voice, it was guiding you. Even when you felt abandoned, I was standing beside you. My child, there are wounds inside you that few people understand. The rejection, the disappointment, the broken trust, the dreams that did not unfold the way you hoped, the opportunities that seemed to disappear, the doors that remained closed no matter how hard you knocked. Each one left a mark upon your heart. And yet you continued. You survived seasons that should have destroyed you. You endured storms that should have overwhelmed you. You walked through valleys that seemed endless. Still you are here. That is not weakness. That is evidence of my sustaining power. I want you to stop for a moment and recognize how far you have come. The enemy wants you to focus on everything that has not happened. I want you to remember everything you have already survived. The enemy wants you to see failure. I want you to see endurance. The enemy wants you to see weakness. I want you to see courage, because the fact that you are listening to these words right now is proof that your story is not over. I know the battle you never talk about. I know the burden you rarely share. I know the pain you keep hidden, and this is what I need you to hear today. You are not fighting alone. You never were. I have been with you in every tear, every setback, every disappointment, and every lonely night. And now, my child, because I have seen every battle, I am about to show you something you could not see for yourself. What looked like silence was not silence at all. While you were struggling to understand what was happening, I was already at work behind the scenes. My child, there were many moments when you believed I had become silent. You prayed. You waited. You hoped. And yet nothing seemed to change. The door remained closed. The answer did not come. The situation appeared unchanged. Day after day, you searched for evidence that I was moving, but all you could see was delay. You wondered if I had forgotten your prayers. You wondered if I had overlooked your pain. You wondered if your voice had somehow become lost among countless others crying out for help. But hear me now. I never stopped listening. Not once. Every prayer reached me. Every tear spoke to me. Every cry echoed in my heart. The silence you experienced was never my absence. It was my preparation. There are things I do behind the scenes that you cannot immediately see. Just as a seed disappears beneath the soil before it ever breaks through the ground, many of my greatest works begin where human eyes cannot observe them. While you were waiting, I was working. While you were worrying, I was arranging. While you were questioning, I was preparing. You saw a closed door. I saw a danger you were not ready to face. You saw rejection. I saw protection. You saw delay. I saw the perfect timing that had not yet arrived. Many times you asked, Lord, why is this taking so long? What you did not realize was that I was not only preparing the blessing, I was preparing you. Because if I had given you everything you wanted when you first asked for it, it might have crushed you rather than helped you. There are seasons when growth must come before promotion. There are seasons when character must come before opportunity. There are seasons when trust must deepen before the breakthrough arrives. You looked at the calendar. I looked at eternity. You focused on the moment. I focused on the destination, my child. Some of the prayers you thought I ignored were actually being answered in ways you could not recognize. You asked me to strengthen you, and I allowed circumstances that developed your faith. You asked me to guide you, and I closed paths that would have led you away from your purpose. You asked me for peace, and I taught you how to depend on me in the middle of uncertainty. You asked me to change your life, and I began changing your heart first. Many times my answers do not arrive in the form people expect. That is why some of my greatest miracles go unnoticed in the beginning. You wanted immediate relief. I wanted lasting transformation. You wanted the storm removed. I wanted to teach you that I could carry you through it. You wanted instant clarity. I wanted deeper trust. And even though you did not understand it at the time, every step was part of my plan. Think about the seasons you already survived. There were moments when you thought everything was falling apart. Yet later you discovered that what felt like an ending was actually a new beginning. The opportunity that disappeared created room for something better. The relationship that ended protected your future. The disappointment that broke your heart redirected your path. What seemed unfair in the moment eventually revealed my wisdom. And the same is true today. What you cannot understand now may become one of the greatest testimonies of your life. My child, I need you to stop measuring my activity by what you can currently see. I am working even when the evidence appears invisible. I am moving even when circumstances seem unchanged. I am opening doors even while you are standing in hallways. I am building answers while you are still asking questions. Nothing about your situation has escaped my attention. Nothing has delayed my purpose. Nothing has disrupted my plan for your life. Even now, as you listen to these words, things are shifting that you cannot yet see. Conversations are happening. Opportunities are forming. Doors are being prepared. Strength is being built within you. The future is moving closer than you realize. So do not interpret my silence as abandonment. Do not mistake waiting for rejection. Do not confuse delay with denial. Because the truth is this: when you thought I was silent, I was working. When you thought I was absent, I was near. When you thought nothing was happening, heaven was already moving on your behalf. And soon, my child, you will begin to understand why the battle became so intense. Because there was something within you that the enemy feared from the very beginning. My child, there is something I need you to understand about the battles you have faced. The attacks were not random. The opposition was not meaningless. The resistance you encountered was not proof that you were abandoned. In many ways, it was proof that there was something valuable inside of you. The enemy rarely wastes his energy on what carries no purpose. He attacks what he fears. He targets what threatens his plans. He tries to discourage what has the potential to become powerful. And that is why your journey has often felt so difficult. You thought the attacks meant you were weak, but many times they came because there was strength within you that you had not yet discovered. You thought the opposition meant you were failing, but often it appeared because you were moving closer to the purpose I placed upon your life. The enemy saw possibilities that you could not yet see. He saw the future I was preparing. He saw the calling growing inside of you. He saw the testimony that would one day emerge from your pain, and he feared it. That is why he worked so hard to convince you to quit. Do you remember the moments when hopelessness suddenly overwhelmed you? The moments when fear seemed louder than faith? The moments when doubt appeared without warning and whispered that nothing would ever change? Those thoughts did not come to help you. They came to stop you. Because the enemy understood something you had forgotten. He knew you were closer to breakthrough than you realized. My child, think about how many times you almost gave up. How many times you considered walking away from your dreams. How many times you wondered if continuing was even worth it. Yet, somehow, despite all the pressure, you remained standing. You may not feel strong, but the fact that you are still here proves otherwise. Every attack that was meant to destroy you ended up revealing your endurance. Every storm that was meant to sink you revealed the strength I had placed within you. Every challenge that was meant to silence you became another reason you would eventually testify about my faithfulness. The enemy attacked your confidence because he feared your courage. He attacked your peace because he feared your faith. He attacked your identity because he feared what would happen if you fully understood who you are in me. He attacked your future because he feared your destiny. For years he tried to convince you that you were too broken, too weak, too flawed, too late. He wanted you to define yourself by your failures. He wanted you to focus on your mistakes. He wanted you to believe that your story would never change. But those were lies from the beginning. You are not your failures. You are not your disappointments. You are not the worst thing that ever happened to you. You belong to me, and what I created has purpose. What I called has meaning. What I planted will bear fruit. My child, some of your greatest battles came because heaven was preparing something greater than you could imagine. The enemy recognized signs of growth before you did. He noticed your spiritual maturity before you did. He saw your future influence before you did. He saw your coming victory before you did. That is why the pressure increased. That is why the struggle intensified. That is why the temptation to quit became so strong. The closer a person comes to breakthrough, the harder the enemy often fights to keep them from reaching it. But hear me clearly. The enemy's attacks do not determine your future. My promises do. His lies do not define your identity. My truth does. His plans are temporary. My purpose is eternal. And no attack, no setback, no disappointment, and no weapon formed against you can cancel what I have spoken over your life. The battle has been intense because your calling is significant. The resistance has been strong because your future carries purpose. The attacks have been relentless because the enemy feared what would happen if you refused to quit. And that is exactly what you have done. You are still here. You are still listening. You are still moving forward. And because you kept going when the enemy expected you to stop, he is losing the battle he thought he had already won. Now I want you to see something even deeper. Not only were the attacks unable to destroy you, but every painful season has been used for something greater, because what you thought was breaking you was actually becoming part of your preparation. My child, one of the greatest lies you have believed is that your suffering accomplished nothing. You have looked back on painful seasons and wondered why they had to happen. You have replayed difficult memories and asked, what was the purpose of all that pain? You have questioned why certain doors closed, why certain people walked away, why certain prayers seemed unanswered, why certain battles lasted so much longer than you expected. And because you could not immediately see the purpose, you sometimes assumed there was none. But hear me carefully. Nothing you suffered was wasted. Not one tear, not one disappointment, not one sleepless night, not one moment of heartbreak. I have been working through every part of your journey, even the parts you wish had never happened, especially those parts. My child, when you were walking through those dark seasons, you thought everything was falling apart, but often what felt like destruction was actually construction. I was building something inside you that could not be built any other way. Strength is rarely developed in comfort. Wisdom is rarely formed through ease. Character is rarely shaped without challenge. The person you are becoming today was forged in moments you once wished to escape. Think about how much you have grown. Years ago, certain situations would have completely overwhelmed you. Today you handle them differently. Years ago, certain disappointments would have destroyed your hope. Today you continue moving forward. Years ago, certain storms would have shaken your faith. Today, you still stand. Why? Because every battle taught you something. Every setback strengthened something. Every hardship developed something. You thought you were simply surviving, but I was transforming you. The betrayal taught you discernment. The rejection taught you that your worth does not come from people's approval. The waiting taught you patience. The uncertainty taught you trust. The loneliness taught you to seek my presence more deeply. Even the mistakes you regret have become lessons that shaped your wisdom. Nothing was wasted. The enemy intended many of those experiences to break you. I used them to build you. The enemy wanted bitterness to grow in your heart. I used those moments to develop compassion. The enemy wanted fear to control your future. I used those seasons to strengthen your faith. The enemy wanted your pain to define you. I used your pain to prepare you. My child, there were times when you thought you were losing ground. You thought life was moving backward. You thought everyone else was moving ahead, while you remained stuck. But what you could not see was that roots were growing beneath the surface. A tree cannot grow tall unless its roots first grow deep. And many of the seasons you called delays were actually seasons of deep rooting. I was anchoring you, stabilizing you, preparing you to carry greater blessings without being destroyed by them. Because the blessings I have planned for you require a stronger version of you. The future I am leading you toward requires greater faith, greater wisdom, greater maturity, and that preparation often happens in places that feel uncomfortable. Do not regret the seasons that stretched you. Do not despise the seasons that challenged you. Do not resent the seasons that humbled you. Those seasons became part of your preparation. One day you will look back and realize that some of the hardest chapters of your life produced some of the greatest growth. You will understand why certain prayers were delayed. You will understand why certain doors remained closed. You will understand why some people could not continue the journey with you. And when that day comes, you will see my hand woven through every chapter. You will see that I never abandoned you. You will see that I never wasted your pain. You will see that I was writing a story far greater than you could imagine. My child, even now, the struggles you are facing are producing something valuable. They are developing strength you will need tomorrow. They are creating testimony you will one day share. They are shaping a future that is closer than you think. So stop looking at your pain as proof that I have forgotten you. Instead, begin to see it as evidence that I am still working. Because I am not only bringing you through this season, I am using this season to prepare you for the next one. And what comes next will make you understand why the process was necessary. For the season of struggle was never meant to last forever. A new season is already approaching, and I want you to prepare your heart for what is coming. My beloved child, if you are still listening at this moment, I do not believe it is by accident. Something in your spirit knows that these words were meant for you. You could have left already. You could have scrolled away, but you are still here. And that tells me your heart is searching for something greater than fear, greater than doubt, and greater than the struggles you have been carrying. If this message is speaking to you, take a moment right now and write, Jesus, I trust your timing. Let that declaration be an act of faith. Not because everything makes sense yet, not because every prayer has already been answered, but because you believe I am working even when you cannot see it. And stay with me until the very end, because what I am about to reveal next may be exactly the encouragement your heart has been waiting to hear. The season you have been walking through is not the final chapter of your story. My child, I need you to hear these words deeply within your spirit. The season of struggle is not forever. I know there have been days when it felt endless. Days when you woke up carrying the same burdens. Days when the answers still had not arrived. Days when you wondered if anything would ever change. The enemy wants you to believe that what you are experiencing now is permanent. He wants you to think that this pain is your future. He wants you to accept discouragement as your destiny. But that is not the truth. No season lasts forever. Winter eventually gives way to spring. Night eventually gives way to morning. Storms eventually run out of rain. And the difficult season you have been walking through will also come to an end. My child, there is a reason I have been preparing your heart through everything you have endured. You are approaching a transition. You are closer to a new chapter than you realize. Though your eyes may not yet see the evidence, movement has already begun. Seeds that were planted long ago are beginning to grow. Prayers that seemed forgotten are moving toward fulfillment. Doors that appeared permanently closed are being touched by my hand. What seems impossible to you is not impossible for me. I know you have become tired. Waiting has a way of draining hope when it lasts longer than expected. Sometimes you compare your journey to others and wonder why their breakthrough seems to arrive sooner. You see others celebrating while you continue believing. You see others receiving while you continue waiting. And in those moments, discouragement tries to settle into your heart. But my child, never compare your timeline to someone else's. I am writing a unique story through your life. The timing I have chosen for you has purpose. The pace I have chosen for you has wisdom. The path I have chosen for you has meaning. What I am building in you cannot be rushed. What I am preparing for you cannot be forced. Trust my timing. Trust my process. Trust my heart. Many times the greatest breakthroughs arrive just after the greatest temptation to quit. That is why the enemy fights so hard when you are close. He wants you to abandon the journey right before the miracle appears. He wants you to stop believing right before the answer arrives. He wants you to walk away right before the door opens. Do not give him that victory. Hold on a little longer. Pray a little longer. Trust a little longer. Because what feels delayed is often closer than you think. My child, I see things you cannot yet see. I see opportunities already forming. I see connections already being arranged. I see answers already moving toward you. I see restoration already beginning. Even now, while you wonder whether anything is happening, I am working in places beyond your sight. I am touching circumstances. I am opening pathways. I am aligning details. I am preparing what comes next. And when the time arrives, you will understand why you had to wait. You will understand why certain things happened the way they did. You will understand why some prayers were not answered immediately. You will understand why I asked you to trust me even when you could not understand me. One day you will look back and see that I was faithful through every season. You will see that I never left you. You will see that I never stopped working. And you will realize that your season of struggle was never the destination. It was only the road that led you there. So lift your head, my child. Do not let despair convince you that nothing is changing. Do not let fear write the ending of a story that I am still writing. For the season of struggle is not forever. A new season is approaching, and as it draws near, there are chains I am preparing to break that you cannot yet see. My child, while you have been focused on the struggles around you, I have been working on battles you cannot see. Not every chain is visible. Not every prison has walls. Some chains exist in the mind. Some exist in the heart. Some have followed you for so long that you no longer realize they are there. But today, I want you to hear my voice clearly. I am breaking chains you cannot see. The chain of fear that has whispered worst-case scenarios into your thoughts. The fear that tells you something will go wrong. The fear that makes you question every step. The fear that steals your peace before the problem even arrives. I am breaking that chain. For I have not created you to live as a prisoner of fear. I have called you to walk in faith. And faith grows strongest when you choose to trust me more than your worries. I am also breaking the chain of discouragement. I know there were seasons when disappointment piled upon disappointment. You prayed. You hoped. You believed. Yet things did not happen the way you expected. Little by little, discouragement tried to convince you that expecting anything good was dangerous. It told you to stop hoping. It told you to stop dreaming. It told you to settle for less than what I promised. But I am removing that burden from your spirit. I am restoring hope. I am renewing vision. I am breathing fresh faith into places that have become weary. The chain of self-doubt is breaking as well. Too often you have underestimated yourself. Too often you have focused on what you lack instead of what I have placed within you. You compare your weaknesses to other people's strengths. You focus on your limitations while ignoring the gifts I have already given you. But my child, I did not create you by accident. I formed you with intention. I equipped you with purpose. I designed you for the assignment I have placed before you. You do not need to become someone else. You simply need to become who I created you to be. And as you begin to see yourself through my eyes, the chains of insecurity will lose their power. I am also breaking chains of past pain. There are wounds you still carry, memories that still hurt, words spoken over you that should never have been spoken, moments of rejection that left scars deep within your heart. The enemy wants those wounds to define your future. But I am bringing healing where there has been hurt. I am bringing peace where there has been pain. I am bringing restoration where there has been loss. The past does not have the authority to control the future I have prepared for you. My child, some chains break instantly. Others break little by little as you continue walking with me. But make no mistake, the process has already begun. Even now, I am strengthening your spirit. Even now, I am renewing your mind. Even now, I am removing burdens you were never meant to carry alone. That is why you must not give up. You may not see every change immediately. You may not understand every step, but freedom is already working its way into places that once felt trapped. The chains are weakening. The strongholds are losing ground. The lies are being replaced by truth. And soon you will recognize that you are no longer the person who entered this season. You are becoming stronger, freer, wiser, closer to me. And as those invisible chains continue to fall, you will begin to discover something remarkable. The blessing you have been waiting for is much closer than you think. My child, if only you could see what I see. If only you could glimpse the things I have already set into motion on your behalf. So much of your discouragement comes from believing that the answer is still far away. You look at your circumstances and assume nothing is changing. You look at your situation and conclude that the breakthrough must still be distant. You see the waiting and think the blessing has been delayed. But I tell you today, the blessing is closer than you think, closer than your fears tell you, closer than your doubts suggest, closer than your circumstances appear to reveal. Many times, my greatest blessings arrive quietly before they arrive visibly. Long before a door opens, I begin preparing it. Long before a prayer is answered, I begin arranging the details. Long before a breakthrough appears, I begin moving pieces into place. What you call waiting is often preparation taking place beyond your sight. My child, there are conversations happening that you know nothing about. There are opportunities being prepared that you cannot yet see. There are doors that seem closed today but are already beginning to unlock. There are connections I am arranging. There are obstacles I am removing. There are answers moving toward you even now. You have spent so much time focusing on what has not happened that you have overlooked what I am already doing. Look back for a moment. Have I not carried you through impossible seasons before? Have I not made a way when there seemed to be no way? Have I not provided when resources were limited? Have I not comforted you when your heart was broken? The same God who sustained you yesterday is working on your tomorrow. My faithfulness has not changed. My power has not diminished. My promises have not expired. What I spoke over your life still stands. My child, I know there are moments when impatience tries to take hold of your heart. You want certainty. You want visible proof. You want immediate answers. But faith often grows strongest in the space between the promise and the fulfillment. It is in that space that trust is developed. It is in that space that character is strengthened. It is in that space that you learn to depend on me rather than circumstances. Do not allow temporary frustration to make you abandon permanent blessings. Do not let today's struggle convince you that tomorrow's breakthrough is impossible. The enemy wants you to focus on how far you think you still have to go. I want you to recognize how far you have already come. You are not where you used to be. You are stronger than before, wiser than before, closer to me than before. And because of that growth, you are now standing nearer to the blessing than you realize. My child, there are seasons when progress is measured in inches rather than miles. There are seasons when growth happens underground before it appears above the surface. This is why you must keep believing, keep praying, keep trusting, keep walking forward. Do not quit now. Do not surrender now. Do not allow fear to rob you of what is approaching. For even though you cannot see the full picture, I can. And I tell you with certainty that the blessing you have been praying for is not moving away from you. It is moving toward you. The breakthrough is closer than you think. The answer is closer than you think. The new season is closer than you think. And because it is so near, there is something important I need to warn you about. Do not allow distraction to steal what I am preparing to place in your hands. My child, because the blessing is drawing near, I must speak to you with urgency. Do not let distraction steal this moment. One of the enemy's most effective strategies is not always destruction. Often, it is distraction. He knows that if he cannot stop my plan for your life, he will try to divert your attention from it. He will fill your mind with unnecessary worries. He will crowd your days with noise. He will tempt you to focus on temporary problems instead of eternal truths. He will encourage you to become so busy surviving that you forget to listen for my voice. My child, pay attention to what has been competing for your focus. How many times have you allowed fear to occupy the space where faith should have been? How many times have you replayed negative thoughts instead of remembering my promises? How many times have you become consumed by things that ultimately carried no lasting value? The enemy understands something important. Whatever captures your attention often influences the direction of your life. That is why he fights for your focus. He wants your eyes fixed on problems. I want your eyes fixed on my promises. He wants your thoughts centered on limitations. I want your thoughts centered on possibilities. He wants you overwhelmed by what you cannot control. I want you resting in the one who controls all things. My child, some distractions appear harmless at first. A little worry, a little doubt, a little compromise, a little delay in obedience. But over time, those small distractions can pull your heart away from the peace I desire for you. That is why I am calling you to be alert. Guard your heart, guard your thoughts, guard your attention. Not everything deserves your focus. Not every voice deserves your trust. Not every opinion deserves space in your mind. There are moments when you must intentionally step away from the noise so you can hear my direction clearly. I am speaking. I am guiding. I am leading. But my voice is often heard most clearly when the distractions become quiet. My child, this season requires spiritual focus. Do not become discouraged by temporary setbacks. Do not become distracted by appearances. Do not allow fear to convince you that nothing is happening. I am still working. I am still moving. I am still preparing the way before you. The enemy wants you distracted because he knows something significant is approaching. He wants you discouraged because he knows your breakthrough is near. He wants you looking backward because he fears where I am leading you next. But I am asking you to do the opposite. Lift your eyes. Lift your faith. Lift your expectations. Stay close to me. Stay rooted in my promises. Stay attentive to my voice, because this moment matters more than you realize. And one day, when you look back on this season, you will understand that protecting your focus helped prepare you for everything that was about to unfold. For even now, as you listen, your testimony is already being written. My child, there is something I want you to remember whenever the road feels difficult. Your testimony is being written right now, not someday in the distant future, not after every problem disappears, not after every prayer is answered. Right now, in this very season, the chapter you are living today may become the story that inspires someone tomorrow. The tears you have cried may one day become evidence of my faithfulness. The battles you have endured may become proof of my sustaining power. The struggles you have faced may become the foundation of a testimony that points others toward hope. My child, many people want the testimony, but few understand the process that creates it. Everyone celebrates the victory. Few appreciate the battle that came before it. Everyone admires the harvest. Few consider the seasons of planting, waiting, and trusting. Yet it is within those hidden seasons that testimonies are formed. That is where faith grows. That is where endurance develops. That is where character is refined. And that is where my hand becomes visible in ways you may not recognize until later. One day you will look back on this season and see it differently. One day you will remember the nights when you thought you would not make it. One day you will remember the prayers that seemed unanswered. One day you will remember the moments when fear tried to convince you to quit, and you will realize that I carried you through every one of them. You will see that what felt like chaos was never outside of my control. You will see that what felt like delay was often preparation. You will see that what felt like weakness was actually the beginning of strength. My child, the story is not finished. Do not judge the ending while I am still writing the chapter. Do not assume defeat while I am still working. Do not lose hope because you cannot yet see the full picture. The author of your story has not put down the pen. I am still writing. I am still guiding. I am still redeeming what seemed lost. I am still bringing beauty from places that once felt broken. And when the time is right, you will stand on the other side of this season and declare that I was faithful through it all. You will testify that I never abandoned you. You will testify that I never stopped working. You will testify that every step, every tear, every battle, and every lesson had purpose. Because your testimony is not merely something that awaits you in the future. It is being written right now, line by line, moment by moment, as I prepare you for the next chapter of your journey. And my child, that next chapter may begin sooner than you think. My beloved child, as this message comes to a close, I want you to hold one truth firmly in your heart. This is your turning point. Not because every problem has disappeared. Not because every answer has already arrived. Not because every door has opened, but because you have been reminded that you are not walking through this season alone. I have seen every battle. I have heard every prayer. I have collected every tear. And I have been working through every moment of your journey. The struggles you faced did not destroy you. They strengthened you. The delays you endured did not stop my plan. They prepared you for it. The attacks that came against you did not define your future. They revealed the purpose that still rests upon your life. My child, do not leave this moment carrying the same fear you arrived with. Do not leave believing the same lies that once held you captive. Lift your eyes higher. Lift your faith higher. Lift your expectations higher. For I am not finished with your story. There are blessings you have not yet seen. There are prayers I am still answering. There are doors I am still preparing to open. There are miracles that are still unfolding beyond your sight. Remember this whenever doubt returns. I am with you. Whenever fear speaks, I am with you. Whenever discouragement tries to convince you to quit, I am with you. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are not fighting alone. The season is changing. The chains are breaking. The path is opening. And the future I have prepared for you is still ahead. So walk forward with confidence. Walk forward with faith. Walk forward knowing that my hand is upon your life. Because one day you will look back on this very moment and realize that it was more than a message. It was the moment hope returned. It was the moment faith rose again. It was the moment you decided to trust me once more. And it may become the moment when everything began to change. Heavenly Father, today we come before you with humble hearts, grateful for your love, your mercy, and your faithfulness. Thank you for reminding us that we are never alone, even in the darkest seasons of life. Thank you for seeing every tear, hearing every prayer, and carrying us through every battle we have faced. Lord, for the person listening to this prayer right now, I ask that you fill their heart with your peace. Calm every fear, quiet every anxious thought, and replace every doubt with unwavering faith. Remind them that your plans are good, your timing is perfect, and your promises never fail. Father, strengthen those who are weary, heal those who are hurting, restore what has been broken, and renew hope where discouragement has taken root. Help them trust you even when they cannot see the full picture. Give them courage to keep moving forward and confidence to believe that better days are ahead. Lord Jesus, break every chain that has held them back. Fill them with your presence, guide their steps, and surround them with your protection. Let your light shine upon their path and lead them into the future you have prepared for them. We surrender our worries, our fears, and our burdens into your hands. We choose to trust you completely. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen. My beloved child, before you leave this moment, I want to invite you to make a declaration of faith, not because I need to hear it, but because sometimes your heart needs to speak what your spirit already knows. If this message has touched you, if you believe that God is still working in your life, write these words in the comments. Jesus, I will not give up. Write it as a declaration. Write it as a prayer. Write it as a statement of faith over your future. Let those words remind you that your story is not over. Let them remind you that God has not forgotten you. Let them remind you that every battle, every delay, and every struggle has a purpose. And if you know someone who is carrying a heavy burden today, share this message with them. You never know who may need this encouragement at exactly the right moment. Also, if you have not already done so, subscribe to this channel and join us as we continue seeking God's presence together through messages of hope, faith, and encouragement. Remember, my child, you are loved, you are chosen, you are seen, you are never alone. And no matter what tomorrow brings, God is already there before you. If this message found you today, it was not by accident. God knew exactly where to find you. May His peace be with you always. Amen.